Hey, what's up, fight nerds? This is your boy Gashawn. I want to welcome you to Enter the Nerd. Today, we're going to be talking about UFC 270, this event that just passed by. Was in Anaheim, California, and it was our first pay-per-view of 2022. It did not disappoint. It had great fights all around from top to bottom, and some that obviously we expected to be great, and some that really surprised us. Now, I won't lie, before getting into all this stuff, I'll say, like, when this event ended, me and a couple of my friends, we felt this kind of strange. Like, I guess the end result of a couple of matches really had us thinking about the future of said divisions and even some of these fighters and even some of the things that just seem to kind of be a headache for fighters in terms of striking and grappling and so on. And I'll get to that probably in this first match here. First match we talk about is Tony Gravely and Simon Oliveira. Now, here's the thing. I understand. If you're wrestling heavy, you're going to be double leg, single leg heavy. But when you keep on exposing your neck to someone who is a jiu-jitsu specialist, which Oliveira apparently is, and his weapon of choice is the guillotine. Now, he actually lost this match, right? And the weird thing is, Tony kept going for the takedown in such a way which exposed his neck. And he actually said at the end of the match that he knew that this was this guy's guillotine. So it seemed like he purposely played with fire because he felt like he could escape every single time. That's not really smart, in my opinion. I would, if I'm gonna go for a takedown, single leg, double leg, I'm gonna make sure that my neck is not there. And you can even, if you listen to like the commentary in the match, they were even saying like, why does he keep doing that over and over again? Now he got the W, and that's just because, to be honest, Oliveira just wasn't as proficient as he could be. If he would have done that with anyone else who was like had elite jiu-jitsu, this probably wouldn't have ended well for him. But go figure, it did. Jack Della versus Pete Rodriguez is actually an excellent example of why straight shots are, honestly, for anyone who is striking heavy, should be more concerned with the straights, because those are the quickest way to get to your opponent. The looping shots, I understand, have tons of power in them if landed, but they're just not as fast. And his footwork was also great too, because not only did he land, but he was getting out. 1, 2, getting out. It was awesome to see. And mind you, he's a young dude apparently, and he's definitely one of the future stars of the division. I think everyone should be paying attention to Jack Della from here going forward. Next, we have Michael Morales and Trevino Giles. Hopefully I'm saying his last name right. Now, watching this match, first I'll say I was going for Giles because obviously his experience. You can even see the way he carried himself in the ring. There were certain things that he just did that let me know he was a more battle-tested opponent or fighter, pardon me. But Michael Morales did have some very good physical tools, having longer reach. And honestly, he just landed the right punch on him. Now, what's funny is my friend Taylor said the first thing he noticed was that he looked like the PS5 version of Miles Morales, and he really does. So hey, Spider-Man fans, if you want to get into UFC, here's your guy, right? But either way, he's another future prospect. He's a young dude. Let's just see how he goes going forward. He's definitely going to have to close up some holes in his footwork, because him plotting forward like that, he's going to get eaten up in the top 10 or even 15. Saeed Nurmagomedov and Cody Stamann, that match was almost like, it was like a death trap, because I know Nurmagomedov, a lot of people were thinking, okay, he's just going to be a grappling dude. But when Cody was standing with him, and the first couple of strikes Cody did not like, because he was like, holy crap, all right, I'm not going to be able to get to distance because he established, you're going to stay over there. I'm going to keep you exactly where I want you. Like a spinning back kick, all of that. But then Cody, as a wrestler, said, you know what, let's grapple. That didn't work out well either, and it ended in a submission. And it was so quick that Cody was just like, what the hell is going on here? And honestly, people should be worried about someone like this, because Cody is up there. That's a guy. That's someone who you want to beat to actually get some attention. And the way he did it means that his ceiling is very, very high. So we should also be paying attention to Saeed Nurmagomedov. Next, we have Michel Pereira and Andre Fiallo. Hopefully I'm saying his last name right. Probably not. But this is my boy Hannah's favorite fighter, Joe Kids. Nah, he hates Michel Pereira just because he feels like he does a lot of unnecessary flipping and whatever. Here's the thing. Michel Pereira is very, very talented, right? Physically, very talented, super athletic, and he actually is skilled. But he does do a lot of unnecessary movement. The issue is a lot of people get very confused by his movement. And they're kind of in awe by his athleticism. They let themselves get hit by a lot of stupid shit. Now, Andre Fialho had a really good strategy, which was just keep it slow, keep the pressure, and just get some nice little stiff jabs in and keep him from moving around. Here's the thing. The plan was good. He did not execute it 100%. And here's what was missing from this plan to actually beat Pereira, because he had a good blueprint. Just there was stuff that was missing. You want to get there, eat him with jabs? Cool. But double those jabs up. Or use those jabs to set up something, right? Because Pereira had the speed advantage. So you have to make sure that you're doing things smart. Now, also, if you want to stop somebody's movement, if they're movement heavy, leg kicks. Leg kicks. They can't move if their legs are messed up. That's just a thing. But for some reason, everyone just tries to slow down movement just by hitting them in the face. It's not how it works. If dude is moving side to side, get rid of his lateral movement by getting rid of the things that he uses to move, right? And obviously, if you look toward the fight, the less that Michel Pereira did a lot of like the weird stuff, and he just focuses on the straight. He's very talented. He's very good. Thing is though, the talent that he's fighting right now, he has to get tested. He has to really get tested. I mean, he fought Chaos Williams, and I actually believe that Chaos won that fight. If you look back on it, I feel like Chaos actually outpointed him in that. It is what it is. But let's see what's going on with Michel going forward. I want to see him really get tested. If he can go through that, I love that. Okay, now on to the co-main, which was Brandon Moreno and Davidson Figuero. Now, I think because we know this is the third time they're fighting, we knew this was going to be tightly contested. And I think a lot of the narrative going into this fight was also that, okay, Figueiredo's probably going to be more wrestling heavy, seeing as how he's training with Cejudo. And obviously he's going to have the power advantage. We feel like that's something that he's always had as a power advantage. Now, when you watch this fight, you can definitely see that Davidson knew that, because he was more patient and just waiting for the big shots. And he landed a couple big shots, and he was going for takedowns a little more than usual. That made sense due to who he was training with. Now, when it comes to Brandon, so Brandon was landing some very effective shots, and his boxing looked so slick. And honestly, his boxing has always been slick, but his confidence in his boxing actually opened up a lot more things. And no, did he hit as hard, but they were effective. And the type of responses that he got from Figueiredo was very telling, because Figueiredo was like, whoa, I don't want to get hit with that again. He landed a shot one time after getting hit with a leg kick. He hit him with a right hand, and Figueiredo didn't like that either, which was crazy. So Figueiredo definitely, the times that he hit him, you could see there were harder shots. But Brandon was hitting him with some effective stuff, and definitely was eating him up with the volume. Which is why when it comes to the decision to give it to Figueiredo and get the belt back, I didn't understand that. And I understand that sometimes the judges will look at the last few moments of fight and see the ferocity of a fighter and take that into consideration. How did this round end? But if we take in the totality of everything, I don't think that really, and that's just my opinion based off of what I saw, it looked like Brandon still got it. And Brandon was even like, this is weird, I felt like I won that. And obviously everybody's going to feel like they won it, of course. But it didn't look like he really lost that. I actually wouldn't have been surprised. And the people who I was watching it with was like, if it was a draw, because it was so closely contested. And still, it looked like the edge was on Brandon's side, because even in that last round, he scored a takedown, along with landing shots. Did he have some the last power shots at the end? No, but accumulatively, I think he landed more in the last round. So it was kind of strange. And obviously they're going to do a fourth fight, it looks like, and perhaps maybe in Mexico. I'm not sure if I really want to watch them fight a fourth time. I get they have awesome fights, but it's like at some point, even they have got to be fatigued fighting each other over and over again. It's like, it's a large part of their career fighting one person. It's got to be strange. But yeah, that was the co-main. Now moving on to the main event with Francis Ngannou and Ciryl Gane. Now, the story for this was rather clear as well. One guy's got the devastating one-punch knockout power that you can't make any mistake with, that if he hits you, he's putting you to sleep. And Ciryl, the slick, big heavyweight, but moves around like a middleweight. So much technique, great head movement, very defensively responsible, right? So we're like, if this guy can get Francis into deep waters, he's going to eat him up. But he's got to be careful, because he can just get knocked out at any second. Funny enough, a lot of this match played out exactly how people thought it would, but then a lot of it just surprised the hell out of all of us. So in the first, obviously we see in the first round where we're all, when we're watching, very, oh my gosh, because we're thinking that Francis is going to come out like a madman. But because of him training with Cyril, I guess he understands that how responsible Cyril is. And Cyril did something very, really, really cool. He would stay far enough to where the punch couldn't get them, and then too close to where any of that power could really be loaded up properly. That was like very, very good. And that's just that distance management, like getting too close for you to use power and too far for you to even be able to reach me. That was awesome. And he landed some really cool stuff, like reverse elbows, even some like full, like he's a very good Muay Thai guy because he was holding them from here and then just gave him, that was amazing, amazing stuff. And he definitely won the first 2 rounds based off of how slick he was. Here's what surprised all of us, and that was Francis Ngannou's use of grappling. Because when we first saw the clinch, we were looking like, you don't want to get into a clinch with a Muay Thai guy. It doesn't matter if you're bigger and more powerful. The footwork is the biggest thing, which we saw Cyril was able to do when he got to those clinch positions. But then when he started shooting, he even did like a body shot to a double leg, which was crazy. And then he did like a whizzer. He's learning. And having Kamaru on these camps for wrestling is obviously something that's paying off, because he's actually feeling more confident using this gap, because in his head, he's like, I can't go technique for technique. This guy understands how to make my power inert, but he hasn't really been on his back that much. And let me just try to use his wrestling. And that, in combination with his strength and him, he's genuinely getting better at grappling, which is scary. But it makes sense because obviously he realized that it was a deficit and he worked very, very hard at it. Now, I obviously don't think it was good for him to try and go technique for technique with someone who can out-technique you. You don't want to do that. But he did what was necessary to win. I think in the 5th round, that was Cyril Gane's fault, obviously, for trying to go for a leg lock and then allowed Ngannou to advance position. And it was crazy because a lot of people wouldn't have been able, like, it was such a split second that Ngannou was able to really capture that upper hand and get on top. And I'm like, wow, good. And nobody expected that to be the reason why. And it went to decision. Imagine, Francis by decision. A lot of people wouldn't have expected that. And a lot of people probably wouldn't have expected like a 1st round KO from like Cyril Gane. Like both of those would have been like the least likely. And this is crazy. And did he look tired in some of the rounds? He was breathing kind of heavy. However, he wasn't exhausted and done at the 5th round, which is great to see. So you got to give him credit for that. And you got to give Cyril credit for doing exactly what you thought, because he could have just been knocked out, but he was very defensively responsible. I believe Cyril Gane is going to be champion at some point, because you see where he's at right now and the rest of the heavyweight division. I think he gives them all run for their money. I think Cyril probably should fight. If he wants to get back to the title, I think he needs to just get Stipe out of there, which would be a great match, him and Stipe, and then go for whoever the champion is. I think Cyril's also someone who could give John Jones a run for their money, unless John starts grappling with him too, and then that's a different issue. But if he stays standing with Cyril for too long, John is very hittable, and that'd be something crazy. Now, obviously, Ngannou's a champion now. It's the end of his contract. What's going to happen? Is he going to defend this against John? That's a big question. Like, I don't know what's going to happen with that. Is he going to fight? Is he going to sit out? Is John Jones going to fight him? Is he going to fight Cyril? That's a whole different thing. But the heavyweight division, I think, watching that fight, understands that there is a different level you have to be. You can't just be big, plotting, and knock people out. You gotta be able to be well-rounded, move around, and do some really special stuff. And that's really where the heavyweight division, this is where it's heading. Still big, still powerful, but get that technique in there. So let me know what you think. Did you like what was that? Oh wait, one more thing about that match. Wait. One of the judges actually scored round 1 for Ngannou, and I don't actually understand how that happened, because one of them was like 49, 46, something weird like that. And I'm like, they scored the 1st round for Ngannou. Anyone watching that's kind of strange. Which sometimes, see, this judging is what we need to talk about sometimes, but that's a whole other video. But let me know, did you love this event? Are you looking forward to the next pay-per-view, 271, with Adesanya and Whitaker? Please stay tuned for that. We're going to do a video on that one as well. Let me know which fights were your favorite or your favorite moments. And don't forget, Into the Nerd.